Okay, Thursday, 4th of April 2024. So, my Bitcoin journey. So, we all have our own little journey and path of discovery with Bitcoin. We all have our own story, basically, our own events. It is life. So, really, I first heard about Bitcoin, I would say, in November 2014, maybe December 2014, maybe January 2015. But around that time, maybe February 2015, around that time, autumn 2014, spring 2015, sometime just after the Mt. Gox scandal, around that time. I need to double check the Mt. Gox actually when that happened, but roughly around that time. Now, back then, I actually learnt about it. I'm quite confident through the Kaiser report, which is Max Kaiser's old show on Russia Today. Now, back then, I knew nothing about finance or economics or whatever else. I was, nothing. And I was learning about it all the time, especially when he came on the show, when it was his show and Matt Kaiser report. First 10 or so minutes of him with Stacey talking about something, and the second half had a guest on talking about finances or economics or what's going wrong in the world. Interesting stuff. Understood very little. And but back then, it was a lot of mystery behind it, like what it is, what it's all about, and there was a lot of uncertainty. That's the idea, uncertainty. What is it? How do you explain it? What is it all about? What's this? What's that? What is it? And I remember it being described as like snake oil back then. It was like a scam in some way. I knew none of the details, but it was like, hey, it's snake oil. It's not really a thing, or or the CIA made it, or things like that. Now I knew nothing, but I was always, I guess so, always humble and always curious to learn more. So tell me more. And 2014 comes along, and I start an e-commerce business, selling video games, actually, Steam keys through a wholesaler, I think it's Cyprus, and selling on my website. And I remember I wanted to accept Bitcoin on the website as payment. And I remember writing in the business plan that I wrote for a bank to get a special business bank account. I included that I want to accept Bitcoin. And this must have been late 2014, easily, maybe spring 2015 still. And I got the bank account, very nice. And then a few weeks later, out of the blue, the bank account gets closed. Very surprised. So I tried to find out through the same branch what happened, and ended up having to ring the head office in Manchester, England, which is North England, 100 or so miles from here. Very nice. And I had to ask. I think I got a letter or a phone call. I really can't remember, but I had to contact them specially for to explain what happened. And it turned out that they closed the bank account without telling me, without notification, just like that, because I included Bitcoin in the business plan. So they, years ago, assumed it had something to do with money laundering. Which, come on, if you're going to do money laundering, that's the last thing you do. You don't say, oh, I'm going to use this tool, which is, at the time, would have been stereotypically associated with criminal activity. Yeah, you're not going to mention it, but okay, whatever. No real problem with me. It got closed. So I tried to accept it in the early days. And I also remember one time, I actually got a payment in Bitcoin. Someone bought a game, and I remember then they asked for a refund. Now, obviously, they tried. You could argue that they tried to, scam you out of it. They get the game and get the money back, quite possibly. And I remember going onto the website localbitcoin.com, which is not around anymore, but we'll come back to that. Localbitcoin.com, and I tried to buy one whole Bitcoin, okay? And at the time, I remember it cost £200. £200. What's that? $300 for one Bitcoin. And I approached different vendors. It was over-the-counter trading. So I approached loads of them, saying, I just want to buy. I created an account 5 minutes ago. I want just one Bitcoin. Give me a Bitcoin. Open a trade. No, rejected. No one would sell me one whole Bitcoin for £200. And I was like, okay, fine. Give me half a Bitcoin then. Forget it, just give me half a Bitcoin. I eventually found someone to sell me half a Bitcoin, I got it, and I refunded the person their coins. Again, 2014-15, that time. Never really heard about it since, and local Bitcoin isn't around anymore because I used them again in 2016 and 2017 in the my first real bull market. But back then there was a lot of uncertainty of what we're dealing with. And you see, when there's uncertainty, when there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of money to be made. But at the same time, it's not clear that there is money to be made. Because now it's, in hindsight, it's obvious. Had you bought Bitcoin back then in 2014, 15, at whatever price back then, in any day of the year, in calendar year 2014, 15, had you bought Bitcoin, just held on to it until today, for example, the price would have been a complete rounding error and you would have made a lot of money. But back then, that trade, doing that trade was not obvious. It was not clear. Obviously, to some people who understood a lot more about it, would have taken that trade and would have done that. Exactly. And I do remember in 2017 in December, when price of Bitcoin hit 19,000, I do remember someone selling, here in the news, someone sold thousands of them and walked away with 8 or 80 million US dollars, I remember at the time. And he sold just at the top of the market. So, nice trade. Okay, but that's another conversation. So back then it was a lot of uncertainty and didn't pay much attention to it, a little bit here and there with the business and the buying it and accepting as payment, but nothing really materialized. Fast forward, I'd say, again, autumn 2016, spring 2017, certainly March 2017. A friend of mine was teaching me how to do trading, let's say, over-the-counter trading. I forgot the word now for this, actually. Not market maker, I forgot exactly, but over-the-counter trading, buying low, selling high, arbitrage, you could argue, of Bitcoin through local Bitcoins. And the price at the time was around £1,000. I strongly think so. And there was this famous meme that I saw back then. It's from the Matrix. It's Neo, Keanu Reeves, saying, "So you're telling me that if I buy this, one day I can sell it for $1 million US?" And there's Morpheus underneath saying, "No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying one day in the future you won't need to." And when I saw that in March 2017, I didn't know what it meant. Didn't fully understand it, but that was the first real seed taking root where there's something about this. There is something behind this. There's something about this that is important, is worthwhile. Because that meme, call me naive, call me curious, call me whatever, but that meme stuck with me. Self-evidently it stuck with me because I'm talking about it, 8 odd years later. So I was like, okay. So do the over-counter trading, how it works, get used to the system, whatever else, learn the ropes. I quickly realized that this isn't quite sustainable because the rules are I have to buy it first, then find a seller. I have to buy it first and then find someone to sell it to. I can't find a buyer first and then try and find someone to sell it to me for a lower price. If I could do that, it would be extremely viable. But I have to buy it first, hope the price doesn't go down, hope, keyword there is hope, and then try and sell it. Because in the time it takes to buy and to sell, the price could have gone down by whatever percentage, then it means that trade would have been a losing trade. If you could get a seller first, I promise to buy £1,000 and then buy it at 900 and give it to him straight away, close the deal, perfect. Absolute perfect. So I always thought it's not quite sustainable because if the price goes down, then it's not ideal. But you could say, right, I'll buy it on a Monday and wait a week or wait a month, then sell it. But we don't know. So I didn't know how to hedge against that. But obviously some people were doing it professionally, but I just didn't know how to hedge against that kind of scenario. But okay, fine. So trading, learning, doing. I remember back then it was approved to be traded on the commodities, something or other. Because now we've got the ETFs, but back then it was at first approved to be on some commodities, not commodities futures or something. I really can't remember. But back then it had some regulatory approval, and it first hit £1,000. I remember that was pretty cool. That was amazing. A nice little milestone. And then I remember also around that time it hit the same price as like a gold coin, which is £1,300 or $1,300 around that time back then. That was pretty cool. And then I remember in December of that same year, 2017, where the bull market, the real, speculative bubble happened. I remember saying this is the 10th of December, 2017. I remember saying to a friend that Bitcoin will be $17,000 on the 17th of December. And that was just me talking, blah, blah, blah. It actually did hit 17,000. Now, that's pretty cool. That was just random speculation, but pretty cool. Now, at the time also, there was a lot of scams going on. Though I remember one or two specifically. BitConnect was big at the time, I remember. Okay. And there was a few other ones here and there, all sorts of random coins here and there. Because back then, the ICO crave was huge. I remember getting into an ICO, spending £600, but in Ethereum to get 27,000 of this random coin. Long since been lost, long since gone to zero. I can't remember the details, but I remember that. And I remember saying it's so cool if it goes to £1. That's really cool, back then. ICO craze, whatever. Interesting times. So BitConnect was huge back then. And when I first saw it, I thought it's obviously a scam. Because other reasons, that's another video I can talk about. But I thought this is a scam. It's obviously a scam. So I didn't really pay much attention to it. And then fast forward December, New Year's, 2017-18, a friend of mine, so to speak, he said to me something interesting. He was, let's say, a barber. And I remember going into his barber shop and he had some coins, some pound coins. And he said to me, mention Bitcoin, whatever this, that, other. And he says, see this money here? Yeah. This is all fake money. This is all fake, pound coins, 50p, whatever. It's like, again, with that meme, with the Matrix meme, like, yeah, what do you mean? Tell me more. This is all fake, whatever. It just puts it in the till and it kind of dismisses it. At first, I remember thinking, well, that's the wrong attitude to have with money in general. You want to attract it, not repel it, but okay. Because he's talking about it as in this is fake money per se. And I was like, what do you mean? And I forgot what else he said, but now I can say, well, it's fiat, it's fiat myth, it's fiat chicanery, it's just hocus pocus, it's just money that can be printed from thin air that someone prints for free, other people have to work for. So, okay, fine, interesting. Now I'd understand that in a different way, but back then, it's like this money's fake. Okay, interesting. What do you mean? Another seed got planted. And then I remember him saying to me, oh, are you on this BitConnect thing? And I'm like, no. He said, you can double your money in 2-3 months, whatever. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. So I was thinking, I might do it then. I'll look into it and think really hard. Oh, wow, okay. And then around that time, a few weeks later, really can't remember, a month later, BitConnect went down. So I dodged a bullet there. Woo, how cool is that? So just when I was like partially, vaguely tempted to join the bandwagon, jump aboard, it got closed down or collapsed or don't know. Now at the time also, there was a lot of scams going on YouTube. I remember one, it was on Genesis Mining. Now, I don't know if they are or were legit. I honestly don't know. I've not looked into it in years. And I remember at the time, no, it wasn't them that was the problem. It was their affiliate program, that's it. And that's what I want to say. Because they do mining, whatever. Okay, you put money in, you get mining. Cloud mining, they have a mining facility in Iceland, whatever claims they have, whatever. You put money in, put money out. You put money in, you get money out. Nice. And there was this referral program where you sign up with a code and the referrer gets a portion of the fees and some kickback. And there was this one channel, Crypto Nick, I remember. This is December 2017 now. His channel really blew up over that year. He did a lot of videos on charts, whatever else. I can't remember the details. But I remember in the peak of it, looking at the comments, they were all just like people posting their referral code, copy and paste. So then he would take a random one, they would post it, comment it, in the hopes that someone would pick their code to put into his referral thing, something to that effect. So they would make money. So it was just pure speculative mania of everyone just commenting in the hopes of getting, making money. Yes. And then when the bubble popped, I remember that account got deleted and he disappeared. So no idea what happened to him since. So interesting stuff. So scams and all the rest, 2017, 2018, things died down, things dropped to 3,000. And I remember thinking back then, like, okay, that's disappointing, but didn't think much of it. Just toddle along, working, mining fiat, and then every now and then buying Bitcoin here and there. This is like in 3,000 range, just whatever helps, just doing here, doing there, whatever, move on in life. And at the same time, like, looking into gold and silver and all the rest. And, that's 2018, 2019, just buying some here, buying some there, buying gold and silver, just collecting, accumulating. Spring 2020, February, I went to Acapulco for an Acapulco. And, out of curiosity for the adventure and all the rest, I spoke basic Spanish, I wanted to go, blah, blah, blah. And I was a bit skeptical of Bitcoin back then. I was like, okay, there's something about this, tell me more. Yeah, I've got some, but tell me more. And I remember talking to one person who was saying, Bitcoin is the best performing asset ever. This is spring 2020. And I remember thinking, nah, that's a bit false, because risk adjusted, it's like the worst thing ever. So I was like, I'm very skeptical, but very curious and like humble enough and accumulating slowly. Like, tell me more. What's this? Whatever, talking here, listening, whatever else. Okay. And then it crashes March 2020. Okay, I didn't think much of it. And also there was a halvening back then. Also in 2016, the halvening, I remember, vaguely. But again, didn't do anything for that. I didn't do anything. And 2020, the halvening, 2016, 2020, the halvening just went by. I said, okay, whatever. And lockdown and life and whatever else. So just Bitcoin's in the background doing its thing. And then I remember hearing somewhere on a YouTube channel, it'll bottom out at 3,000. Don't know, whatever happens, man, just doing my thing. Continuing, learning, whatever else, trying this, trying that. In 2021, in autumn, I remember doing a lot of DeFi stuff. That was interesting. And I had an interest. I had Ledger. Oof. Yeah, right, Ledger. I remember in, I think, December 2020, a lot of Ledger accounts, 10,000 or so, got a very strange, threatening email. Some people had hacked Ledger's database, got loads of customer details, information leak, data leak, and sent a threatening email to all those 10,000 people. Now, the way it was written, it was very vague. I know what you did. I know this, I know that. We saw this. We saw what you did yesterday night. And Monday morning. Yeah, this is too vague to be a real threat. That was actually relying on one fear, but also on survivorship bias. Like if we say, I know what you did on Monday morning. Well, Monday morning, I was fast asleep at Monday morning. And someone who obviously was doing something bad on a Monday morning was like, oh my God, they know who I am. So it's just a case of like trial and error. These people are going to say, I was fast asleep, did nothing. But these people are going to be like, fucking hell, they know what I did. Panic. So that happened. That was a big scandal. That's the first warning sign. And then in late July 2021, yes, my Ledger account got hacked, and I had a nice little collection of BTC stolen from me, along with a few another coin as well, stolen. That was the first time. That was the last time. Let's say that was the last time I had a big data breach like that, where a good chunk of BTC, a nice amount was taken. Wow. It was like heart being ripped out. Now, I remember I did a lot of cycling back then. I remember I just got on the bike straight away. I went for an exhausting bike ride just to clear my thoughts, like, what the hell just happened? What the hell? The first warning sign was when Ledger had data breach a few months earlier. Than that, 5 digits of pounds taken from me. Like that, in the course of a minute, I could see it. I was like, oh my God, what the hell? Now, fortunately, I could still survive, still eat, still live, sleep, no disaster, but not fatal, basically. Because a few months earlier, maybe later, April 2022, yeah. No, 23. No, 2022? I guess 22, yeah. So this is July 2021. Disaster. Bloody hell. Okay. But survived. move on in life, keep going, keep pushing. 2022, April, I remember, I did an interesting trade. I got a hot tip, basically. I got a hot tip, buy this. And I remember 1 a.m., I didn't sleep, or I went to bed late, and I thought, right, we should do it now, not wait till morning, but do it now. I'm glad I did it then. A little hot tip, buy something at, £1. By the morning, it had tripled. Wow. By the next day, or a few days later, or a few weeks later, it did 10x or whatever. Wow. Sell, let's move. No, something else as well. Oh, yeah. There's loads of stories. But hot tip, this happened, that happened. A nice chunk of cash. Very nice. Then I experimented a lot with DeFi. What is it called? Cake coin. I can remember setting up loads of DeFi because I had this project here, this project there, Trezor here, Trezor there, whatever else. And I remember setting up some cake coin, and then I could watch the interest just go up over time. Well, that's really encouraging. That's really cool. But then I noticed that, hang on a minute, I'm getting interest in cake, but the cake in price of dollars is going down. So there's a mismatch here because I'm earning more cake, but it's worth less dollars, or fewer dollars technically, fewer. So that's I'm actually going backwards. I'm just moving forward at one step forward, but like 10 steps back, basically. So it's not really progress. It's the opposite. It's going backwards. So that's unfortunate. And then something else happened with DeFi. Things happened. Whatever else, I don't know, goes to zero or whatever. Things just go down when you expect to go up. That kind of stuff. And then I was in this little community, and I asked loads of like mathematical, technical questions about BTC, like how do we explain this, or what about this, or what happens if Naibu Kelly this, or how does this happen, or can we explain this mathematical concept here, or why does this happen, whatever else. And I got really dissatisfied because there was no real good answers to my questions, and it was just like you're just ignoring me or deflecting the question back at me, or just whatever else. And it's like I got a specific technical question about BTC to understand it, and I thought, I'm not doing that. Left in the end, dissatisfied customer, no thank you. And then I thought, right, well, I'm just going to listen to basically Max Kaiser. I'm just going to listen to him more than anything else. Not him specifically and only, but I thought, right, you know what, the Bitcoin maxis ultimately, because there's a great meme that says you start off with Bitcoin only, and then as you over time you go to all the coins. So time and then knowledge, I can't remember, or time and something or other, or portfolio allocation. So over time you start with Bitcoin, and over time you have more coins over here. Then over time your portfolio allocation just goes back to BTC. Very true. So I went back to BTC. I just went full, I wouldn't say Bitcoin Maxi, but Bitcoin Maxi Lite. And that's another conversation from the video, where it's like just Bitcoin. Keep it simple, hodl, focus on this, don't really touch anything else, whatever else, only that. And then let's listen to the What Bitcoin Did podcast, and Michael Saylor, Kaiser, Orange Pill podcast. That was fairly big at the time, and other stuff. I can't remember who else. Simon Dixon was really good, but he's a little more balanced. He does fiat and investing and put retirement planning, whatever else. A little different, but he was quite instrumental back then for me. So just listening to all these other different podcasts here and there about Bitcoin, just Bitcoin. And I'm thinking, right, well, yeah, that's just that signal. So just go back straight into it and just focus on that. And that was 2022, 23, summer 2022 onwards, I guess. Yeah, May. It would have to be May, June, I don't know, 22, in earnest. Sometime in the summer 2022 onwards, and I just focus on this. Just focus, and that's it. And then keep learning and being humble, stacking sats, and taking it from there. So it's amazing how over the years Bitcoin has really changed and gone from this obscure kind of thing, this collectible thing, this curiosity, and over time it's got more acceptance, more understanding, more clarity, more regulation, more regulatory understanding of it and beyond. And there was this amazing tweet that I saw once. I really can't remember who did it exactly, but he said the price of Bitcoin is a lagging indicator of the world's understanding of money, meaning that as the price goes up and to the right, that means more people understand the problem of money we have today as we know it. I.e., what my friend said in the barbers, where this money is fake. That meme, you mean to trade it for £1 million? Or you wouldn't need to. It's that, fundamentally. And when you also look at it fundamentally as well, Bitcoin exists because there was a fundamental problem back in 2009, 8, 9, whatever, where Satoshi built it in the first place, separating the money from a third party, trusted third party, the separation. If that trusted third party, let's say banks or governments, were trustworthy in the first place, that would negate the whole point to have Bitcoin in the first place. Where if you can't trust them, then you can trust no one. So how do you mathematically create that? How do you mathematically secure that? Oh, it's proof of work, difficulty adjustment, the code here, this, open source, Merkle trees, whatever else, Byzantine generals problem, you name it, this. There it is. So it's amazing how it's changed over the years, the understanding. And the FUD that was prevalent back then, I really can't think of any particularly. The CIA made it in 2014. All that kind of FUD is just disproven, thoroughly disproven. No one talks about it. No one discusses it these days. And it's just amazing how things change over time. And it's powerful, it really is. But interesting how as uncertainty decreases, so does the, lack of a better word, the reward. Because as I said earlier, the higher the uncertainty, the reward could be anything. It could, who knows? But in hindsight, it was through the roof. But as uncertainty decreases, or as certainty increases, it becomes clearer, more obvious what to do. The reward, arguably, decreases. Now, I'm not saying it goes to this, but it decreases from whatever to whatever, because now the signal, the what to do, is increasingly obvious what to do, what it means, the understanding. You give this technology to 1 million people from different backgrounds, and they study it for 100 hours each. That's 100 million hours of dedication and analysing this thing and coming to different conclusions, the same maths and same code and different conclusions. And even 100 million hours is infinitesimally higher than the amount of time that Satoshi Nakamoto would have spent on the code as well. So 1 million people looking at the same lines of code and coming to different logical, economical, financial, philosophical conclusions, and the free market, or what's called the marketplace of ideas, comes to the conclusion where this is a hedge against inflation, debasement, entropy, money you can earn, money you can spend, apolitical, decentralized, fixed supplies, changed everything, all models are broken. The cost of production goes to the marginal price of all this other stuff. It's the future is deflationary, you name it, all the buzzwords. It's a game changer. And over time, that became increasingly obvious. Back then, of course, back then, of course, wasn't. But so that's why people nowadays would say, well, if I went back 2014, 14, 15, 16, 17, I'd be buying and never selling and hodling and hiding away and whatever else. And you say that, but are you doing that today? Yes, no, maybe, kind of. Okay. So I can tell you, back then, no, it was a complete different story. It was a much more Wild West, I'd say. Because all sorts of things were happening. All sorts. Mt. Gox, BitConnect, crazy days. Oh, and the hash wars. I remember the Bitcoin hash wars, but that was happening in the background. I didn't understand it. And I remember saying to a friend of mine, well, imagine if we just put £20 a month into BTC. And this is 2017. Imagine how much that would be worth. 2017. I was right. Imagine 7 odd years of hodling. Almost two, well, now it would be two halvings. Well, it's impressive. So that's the majority of my journey. And I remember tweeting out to Max Kaiser in 2014, 15 that my business that I'm building, I'm accepting Bitcoin. And I remember him saying to me, he replied to my tweet saying, DM me. And I replied and messaged him and DM'd him. So there was a chance of going on the Kaiser report, but it never materialized. Whatever. That would have been really cool. But that's still accolade, that's pretty cool. And then Bitcoin, it's a roller coaster journey, and you go from naive or not understanding it, noob, some would say, from knowing nothing to being skeptical and hesitant and unsure and trader, whatever else. And it's true, the meme is quite accurate, where all roads lead to Bitcoin in one sense. And like, yeah, because it changes human incentive, changes human action, this and that and that and this. And that's another video as well to do for another time. But it's beautiful. It's technology, because fundamentally the code doesn't change. And I think that one thing that got me through the bear market, so to speak, or got me involved in it, was in investing. There's a beautiful quote by Warren Buffett that says, "Price is what you pay, value is what you get." Now, that meant that the price can do whatever, but the value is this, what you get. So in stock trades, traditionally, what you get is the company, the people, management, the sales, production, the production line, assembly line, the distribution, whatever. And those things change as well. Management comes and goes, sales, seasonal, distribution, disruptions, whatever. And the price does whatever. So if you're getting this, but the price is up here one day, and then the price is down here the next day, it's on discount. That means that this product, everything being equal, is on sale, grab it. But if it's up here, it's on premium, it's not really worth the buy. You could still buy it by all means, but if it's down here, buy it. So I was able to look at the market and think, the product is still the same. Nothing's changed, even though the price has dropped by 50%. So that means that it's a good time to acquire some, mathematically speaking. Now, I don't know, we'll see in the future. So then, by looking at it that way, logically, I'm able to say, right, this is worthwhile, or when it is and when it isn't worthwhile. And that kept me going through. It's like, okay, that's why I can remember still quite fondly, the bottom of the market, December 2023. No, 22, December 22, yes, because I was in Buxton, the Peak District, for New Year's, yes. And I remember, and there was a beautiful little meme I saw recently of Jerry from Rick and Morty, where Jerry's looking at this like photo, and then you see him, and then you see the photo on what's in this like, picture frame, and it's the the bottom of the market, 17,000. Like, yeah. So things are different. So it's amazing. So that's the majority of my journey. DeFi here, learning a lot there, over-the-counter trading, local Bitcoin. Never got involved in BitConnect. I almost kind of got involved in Luna at one point, but that's another topic for another video, because that's an interesting topic with regards to the opportunity cost of Bitcoin. So it's beautiful. It's a journey. And over time you learn. You learn about finances and economics and whatever, and human incentive, praxeology. So it's a forcing function for you to learn and understand it. This kind of goes into the Bitcoin standard, which will be another video that I got planned some other time, because that's a whole other conversation. So it's beautiful. Beautiful little tech, beautiful adventure, beautiful. No regrets, I'd say, no regrets. You learn, you grow. It's a chapter in life, life. Yeah. No regrets. Good times, bad times. Losing that bit of BTC and having some nice hot picks here every now and then from trustworthy sources. But that's another conversation. That's just trading for the fun of it. Adventure, yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Bit of fun, but not what I do. I just no interest. I'm more builder rather than trader. But actually, in I want to say November 2014, but I think it would have been 2015-16. I really can't remember at all. I did a course on forex trading, and quite possibly some of that stuff there, the discipline, the psychology, and some of the market patterns, just enough. I got just enough out of that probably helped me with understanding the charts and the psychology of the market, whatever else. And that was a crash course as well. So yeah, it's amazing. All these things come together, and it helps form who you are today and history, life, So that's my BTC story. That's my adventure. How cool is that? But otherwise, you will see me tomorrow.